So it has been a little frightening this week, and you're looking at things, and Donald Trump might seem callous to some because he'll just say, hey, stop freaking out. Stop freaking out. And it's easy to say that as a negotiator. If you're negotiating in a company and you can say to your staff behind closed doors, listen, we're going to do some stuff, but I'm negotiating. Don't freak out. Anybody freaks out, we're going to lose the negotiation. Don't freak out. He's been trying to do that, but he has to say it on a global stage where everybody is watching him. So he's trying to say, don't freak out. I got this. I got this. And it's required us to have faith. And, that's hard to give to a politician, any politician. Especially if you didn't vote for that politician. If you don't like Donald Trump, you're not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You're going to think he's destroying the country. And it's really interesting because those who didn't vote for Donald Trump because they thought he would destroy the country most likely voted for the last administration. And it didn't matter that they were literally on the take from one of our enemies, literally making millions of dollars, taking money to influence decisions from China. It didn't matter that they were lying, they were cheating, that they were literally stealing from you. Now we know through USAID, through all of these NGOs, they were literally stealing from you, let alone lying to you. Remember when I told you about the Great Reset? Something, ESG, DEI, all these things that we now are very, very well aware of, and we know they are absolutely true. They were implemented by the same people who said they were conspiracy theories. I mean, that's the one thing I can't get past is the people. How do you get past? How do you hate Donald Trump so much that you can still run to the people who have lied to you over and over again about things that do matter? When Donald Trump said, I had the biggest crowd ever. Does that matter? If he's telling the truth or lying, does that matter? No, we're not trying to undermine capitalism and go to a global government through ESG and DEI and the World Economic Forum. That lie matters. That one matters. That one will matter for generations. That one matters to your children and your grandchildren. But for some reason, some people will just continue to dismiss that. I had horrible pain in my hands. I had a hard time moving them. I could barely work with them. I couldn't write or type or anything. I tried everything. Then I found Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free supplement developed by doctors, and it's safe to take daily. It made a real impact for me and so many others. Try their 3-week quick start now, $19.95 at relieffactor.com. I want to remind you that while we're in this situation with China, first of all, China is the source of COVID. Did you see this week what they came out with on that Biden covered up something we reported on within a couple of months of COVID? We said, we've been doing our homework on this, and there was an event with the global army and all of the armies around the world that were kind of wargaming and getting together, and our troops were there too, and it was all in Wuhan, and they came home and they were sick. Remember that? And we're like, that might have been the first kind of outbreak of this. And everyone called us conspiracy. They just released the documents that show that Joe Biden knew that, it was true, and they buried it. So we're dealing with a country like China, really, really bad. You know that, and I know that. We are dependent on China now, and that can't happen. Do you remember what COVID was like when everybody was like, oh, you can't get that, can't get that. You can't get surgical masks because they're all made in China. How many times did we in 2020, 2021, 2022 say, I've never seen this in the United States before. Wait a minute, there's a shortage of what? Okay, we weren't used to that. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. especially when it comes to things like medication and rare earth minerals. You may not know exactly what rare earth minerals are, or your friends might not know, but rare earth minerals are what it's going to control the world. You don't have access to rare earth minerals, you can't make batteries or chips. Okay? Nothing. China is buying them up from all over the world, and we have created this country where we can't even mine our own rare earth minerals, and underneath some of our mountains, we have more rare earth minerals than every place in the world combined. But our government has shut that off. Now, why? Let me again remind you what we've just come out of. The Cloward and Piven strategy. Cloward and Piven were these two university professors back in the 60s. And when I first brought them up back in the early 2000s, everybody was like, that's crazy. She's just a sweet old lady. She didn't mean any of that stuff. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She was the one at the White House with Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton that did the motor voter law. That was her. Why? Get people, everybody who's registered for a license, get them registered to vote. The whole thing, her whole plan with her husband, Cloward and Piven, the whole thing was to collapse America economically, overwhelm the system and collapse it economically. We're dealing with that reality, okay? Whether it's intentional or not, we all know. We all know. You look back, you look at this world and you see, my gosh, is this a sprawling, chaotic system that we've all been swept up in, and it has strangely worked in many ways until it doesn't work because of something like COVID. And then it all falls apart. And you look at everything that we're doing, the endless wars, the draining of our spirit and our resources with these endless wars, government spending like there's absolutely no tomorrow, printing money until it feels like monopoly cash, globalism that has left us leaning on our enemies for things as basic as medicine and rare earth minerals, elites in our universities and now running our schools that are destroying our children by teaching them to be victims and not teaching them how to empower themselves by learning how to think. Worst of all, the global governments, the World Economic Forum, the WHO, the United Nations, all those things that have said to us for years, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And now we know they have been doing it. And with our help from the elites in our own governments. And they have redesigned the world. They have infiltrated a compliant press that denies the truth. They are continually defying common sense, and they are defying the will of the people openly destroying our nations, destroying our history, our unity, now arresting those who dare stand against them. Whether it's the guy down the street on the school board or at the school board meeting that's like, hey, you guys are all crooks. What are you doing to my kids? Those who are protesting rape gangs in England, they're off the street. Actual leaders running for higher office against the machine in France and Romania. They tried to do it here. This is all a house of cards, and it's trembling under its own weight. And deep down, every single one of us know it. One way or another, we all know it. Whether you're in denial or not, that's up to you. Even those on the left, the ones who have been loudest about keeping it going all along, the ones who are now protesting and burning Teslas, unless you're a useful idiot, unless you're somebody who's like, yeah, our side's always right. I'm going to burn down a Tesla factory. Unless you're just a useful idiot, this is not about what's right and wrong. This is about keeping the decline of this nation and the entire West on that path. Because the elites, some of those that are tied to the last president and his circle, push this idea of the Great Reset, which is a managed decline. They see the cracks just as much as I do. They're trying to control the fall so they can control our future. They know there's too much money to be lost, so let's get together with all the big banks and the big corporations and finding out more and more, our CIA and everybody else, and we'll manage this collapse, keep the people down, keep the people quiet, and then we'll control everything and we'll reset. That's not, God didn't give you the right to do that. God didn't give the right for anybody to do that to a whole population of people. So this is what we have been fighting against. And now Donald Trump is standing up and saying, that is so deep and metastasized. To save it, we have to turn this thing 108. This is the world's largest aircraft carrier ever in the imagination of mankind. It's like an Imperial stormtrooper ship, of an aircraft carrier. Practically half a continent, and you got to turn that thing around. So, let me talk to you about fear. Just that should scare the hell out of all of you. Every single one of us. It should scare our children and our children's children. It should scare everybody who's in the sound of my voice, because it's true. There is trouble, whether it's intended or not. This doesn't work anymore, okay? And it's because we got off common sense and common values. Now the question is, are you going to fear it or are you going to face it? And that's really what this election, I think, was about, at least for me. I see one guy who's willing to stand up and say the truth and then actually follow through with action. I don't see politicians follow through with action. He's actually not afraid of doing it. I'm not afraid of the truth. You shouldn't be afraid of the truth. The truth will set us all free. It's scarier to pretend it's not there. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. We got some hard times ahead of us. There's no sugarcoating. Nobody should sugarcoat that. But it's, what is the goal at the end? Is it for the elites to control everything, or is it to give you power? Because both of them are risky. Both of them could end in violent revolution. Both of them could fail. But I know which side I want to win. I want the side that says, hey, these values are worth fighting for and trying to save. And it might be our World War II. It might be our Great Depression. It might be our Civil War. But I'd rather take that on than pass it on to my children, because I'd rather have my children have the opportunity sooner rather than later to be free. The system's been running on fumes, and when it finally sputters out, we're going to feel the jolt one way or another. What's been happening this week is dedicated people who know what's going on that says, okay, I don't want the pain, but I'd rather take it on my shoulders now than pass it on to my kids, because we might be able to save it now if we're honest about what we're facing. Let me carry the load. Let me wrestle with the mess that we've made so they don't have to. Because a controlled fire is good. Forest fires are good too in the end, long run. But a controlled fire is good. It gets rid of all of the underbrush, and it actually replenishes the soil so something better can grow. And some controlled burns are going to happen. We have a chance here. A chance to rebuild, to rethink how we live. We cannot continue to rely on far-off enemies. We have to start looking closer to home, to our own soil, to our own hands, to our own people. We can make things again. Not the things that we made in the past. We're never going back to those days. Something new and even better is on the horizon. But we can grow things. We can stand on our own 2 feet. It's time to say you're 25 years old. You're not a kid. Adolescence now lasts till you're 25. In George Washington's time, you were an adult when you were 13. Are we getting better or weaker? This is not going to be easy. But what's at the end will either be completely bogus or real again. And somewhere inside of me, I know we're not done yet. World has been through collapse before, empires fall, systems crumble. But the ones who make it are the ones who dust themselves off. So I'm, for one, willing to take the hit. I'm willing to grit my teeth because I believe in what's on the other side. And I know you can say it's easier for you to say, Glenn, but I only succeed when you succeed. I get paid a salary because you have the money to buy things that we advertise. So if you don't succeed, I don't succeed. I lose everything too. I just want to encourage you to pray on this weekend and find the strength to at least face the truth and turn the page, because it's not just about survival. It's a new start.